Yeah. I've been dead excited for this game, and I'm going to talk about it. I'm scared shitless.
It's the match build-up show. Liverpool Man City quarter-finals of the Champions League at Anfield, first leg. Wow, I have been so desperate to get to talking about this game, Chris. Like I've had zero interest in any of Liverpool's domestic fixtures since the draw was made. We had to stomach a crushing win over Watford, an international break, and then a half-foot win over Crystal Palace. All told, things have gone as well as they kind of could have done. But you know what it's like anything in life, when you look forward to something and you build yourself up for it, there's just a mad difference in how you think you're going to be when you get there and the reality of this is it. No more talking, no more whatever. We're gonna record this. We're gonna live a little bit of our lives, and then we're gonna be at Anfield, and it's gonna be this game. And it's all I want from football is Liverpool to be involved in these big fixtures every single year.
Kind of just want to fast forward the next day and a half, to be honest, and just get to the coach greeting, and just to be able to start singing again. Like, even when we were down at Palace at the weekend, we were just talking about Man City on the way down there because that's what the focus has been. So I bet these lads are feeling up for it as well, but. It's such a huge game. It just can't be understated how big this is. Man, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be nervy. I feel it already. We just did something before we went live, and Tom basically killed everyone off. And I think he walked out the room and he come back and everyone's like,
everyone's head in the hands, and I was like, what? What's happened? Who's died since I left the room?
I'm just too nervous about this.
Yeah.
It's paining me to even think about it, because I want this, like you just said. I want to watch Liverpool play these games, and it's the funny thing is, City at Anfield, the 4-3, that was the biggest test of the season. Yeah. It was, we can beat all these small teams, but can we do it against the big teams? And we did it. Yeah. And we've got to do it again. And I didn't want to do it again. I was happy with it being done. We did it, and we were like, yes, now we've got to go there and beat the best team and one of the best teams in Europe. I'm confident we can do it. But I'm just so nervous, it's unbelievable.
Look, here's the thing. This is a Liverpool show. It's a Liverpool channel. We could sit here, Ross, and we could make ourselves feel very upset and very uncomfortable talking too much about Man City. Fuck them. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure that's what the response is going to be inside Liverpool, inside Melwood as well, is that there's plenty of reasons for Liverpool to be positive about this. And this isn't us being, happy clappy dickheads. This isn't us living in a fantasy land. Man City have lost 4 games in all competitions this season. The only one of those games they've lost where they truly went for it, and it was a true competitive game. They might make a case for the FA Cup game. They lost Fabian Delph around half-time, was to get sent off, but it wasn't their full-strength team. It was us. We're the only team who've gone toe-to-toe with Man City and come out on top at all this season. And though that means that doesn't provide a guarantee for how this game's going to go in any way, shape or form, it would be stupid, mental of us not to take a crumb of comfort from that knowledge.
That's the one thing I took when we first got the draw. Obviously, I saw your reaction, and it was the draw that everyone didn't want because they are so good. Yeah. But we've beaten them. Not only can we take confidence from that, but the players can as well and go, we've done this already. We can do it again at Anfield.
We've got 4 goals against them.
Yeah, but it's the first leg at Anfield as well. We mentioned it on the running special that everyone thought, having Anfield in the second leg is much better. It's not for this one because most people have already written us off. Yeah. Most people already think City's it's theirs. They're going to win. Yeah. But they've lost 4 games. But in them 4 games, they're people that have taken the game to City. People that aren't afraid to play against them. People that have played their own game against City and gone, do you know what? We're not scared of you, but we'll do what we fucking want. Yeah. And what have we got to lose? You're gonna twat us, right? Sound. You've done that to everyone else that you've played, and it's the same for us. Okay, we all want to be in that semi-final, but for me, another thing I probably shouldn't think like this, but if we get knocked out by City, I'm sort of all right can be with it because they are so good. So what have we ultimately got to lose?
Well, this is the point, isn't it? You can lose quarter-finals of the Champions League to anyone, Chris. There's just loads and loads of good teams left in there. We could have been drawn against any host of other teams with masses of pedigree behind them, whatever. But I agree with what Ross is saying there. And to steal a quote, I'm hyperbolising because it's footy ultimately, but better to die on your feet than live on your knees. I would trust Liverpool to go into this swinging. If we go into this game swinging, and that's from us as a fan base in the build up to it, to getting in the ground, the players in there, and we fall short, case of that is what it is.
There's so many things that we can look at and go, right, we can hang our hat on the 4-3, of course we can, but Klopp has won more games against Guardiola than any other manager in the history of football. Do you know what I mean? That as a rivalry goes, I think he's won 6 of them, hasn't he?
Feels so much better.
And you know, there's nobody better to be our manager and to take the game to him. Yeah, obviously Guardiola's done well with them. Bayern Munich beat Dortmund 3-0, and they completely changed up the game plan, and they went long balls, and I think they played 120 long balls during the game or something. City for this weekend played like 40 in their game against Everton or something. So he can change it, but he's forcing Guardiola to change it, and that's good for us as well. Yeah, of course you can have, you know, during battles, one will win, then the other one will win and stuff like that. But Klopp's a good manager, and those Man City players know they couldn't touch us first half last time out, and they know how good we are, and they know what we're going to bring, and you know, it is two great footballing sides going head to head, and they'll give it everything that they've got. And this time, for this game, we've got the advantage because we've got Anfield, and they have not experienced Anfield on a European night.
And this is the thing, funnily enough, I did a podcast last week with Sachin Nakari. We talked about this coach treating thing, and then we talked about the attitude I think City fans have got around it, like how it won't have an impact. Well, I was there when we beat City in 13-14, and there's still a few of them players still around. A lot of their best players are still the best players that they had then, by the way. And I saw the way that, you know, it's not necessarily about the build-up to it, but it's about how Liverpool fans carry themselves into the game, how they conduct themselves, the noise, the cauldron of noise. There's no way. That was a league game at the time. You know, a daytime kick-off league game. This is a night game at Anfield in Europe. It will be that plus.
Yeah. There's no better experiences in football for me than being in the Kop when that City game, that 4-3, in that atmosphere, it was the best. I love to scream and shout at footy, and if we can replicate that and, like you say, add on to it, it's the thing is about this coach greeting, it's not so much to scare their players, it is to G us all up. It's to G the players up. Oh, that's our support. See all the support. People are coming out to see us. They want us to win, every single person, and everyone's going to be going into the ground. So there is no game before it. So we're going in with the utmost belief in our ability, and I can't wait to see what Anfield produces, because it's produced some amazing nights. This is primed to be the best, because it's two... Sorry, Chris said it then. It's two great footballing sides. This game, regardless, is going to be one of the best games of the season. It's just a shame I'm not going to be able to focus on it, because I'm going to be scared.
I have no intention of actually watching the game. I'm going to be too busy singing the heart out for it. It's worth pointing out, like the coach greeting thing, Ross, I think Tom's kind of saying, look, we did it against Dortmund, and Dortmund took to the pitch and tore us apart. Absolutely tore us apart. So it's not just people put too much emphasis on this one thing. It's not necessarily about providing, that it's not the be all and it doesn't stop. And it's all, everything is just about the slight little, the marginal gains, the fractions of percentages that it adds to whatever. So say it has zero impact on the Man City players, but if it gives a fraction of a percent increase to our lads in the coaches, then it was worthwhile. If it loosens the fans up in terms of it adds to our confidence. You're not going into the stadium cold and going, what's your first song? Your first song's not You'll Never Walk Alone. You've been singing for an hour beforehand. You're just ready to go. Then it's like doing stretches before you play a football game. You perform better when you've done your stretches. And lastly, if it does have an impact, people saying it won't impact Silva and Aguero and whatever because they've been there and done it. They'll just put their headphones on and shut the blinds. Well, I'm sorry, if Sergio Aguero, Silva, whatever, if they normally don't do that, if they're forced to change their routine even slightly, I'm not saying that these are the contributing factors. These are not going to be the big moments. It's not a goal. It's not. It can't possibly be counted that way. But you know what? Football is decided on fine margins, and anything you can do to give yourself a millimetre of advantage should be capitalised upon.
Yeah, I'm with Tom on this. When that poster came out and we shared it, whatever, the first thing I looked into it was it's about us and it's about our team and G and our players up, because there's players there that have been through it and been there before, but there's loads of that team that won't have been won't experience anything like it. Likes of Virgil van Dijk or Robertson. I mean, pretty sure they don't get any sort of welcome at Hull or
Virgil van Dijk would have seen it when he went
to Blackpool.
In the League Cup semi-final when we accidentally booed our own coach. But yeah,
mistakes happen, Paul.
These things happen.
But there's going to be thousands of people there that aren't going to the game, that are going to be up scaffolding, up lampposts, and with everything else. The LA is going to be going for 6 hours on Wednesday night at least, isn't it? Yeah. It's just, that's all it is for me. It's just say, we're behind you, we're here for you. Yeah. For them to take that into a game, not just the fans take it into the game, is a huge thing for me.
This is the point of this, and I think what you're talking about, it's the culture around it. We often refer to this, Chris, there's an entitlement around football. You did a great thing on this about a year or so ago on the podcast about how people, there are just some people out there who watch football because the win is everything. And it's fine. Look, winning's the most important thing in football. It is, because that's how you win things ultimately. But football is just an experience. You go to the football, and most games of football you go to, they're nothing events. This is a thing. This is the point. We go to it. You go to it. You get wring as much enjoyment out of this as you possibly can. Soak it in. Go out there and have as much of a laugh as you want to make of this, because this is what it is to be at the business end of a football season and be involved in the things that you want to be involved in. Get used to this and embrace it, enjoy it, because this is what a good Liverpool looks like. There's people who won't remember it, but this is what it is.
It's been a long time, hasn't it? It's been 9 years or something since we've been in the Champions League. Enjoy it if you're a young fan who's not been able to go to it before. But even if you're an old fan, you don't get to experience this every season. We're a lucky fan base. We do get big European nights. You don't, if you're Brentford, you know what I mean? Imagine being one of them. I'd go and greet the coach every single weekend if I had time in my life to do it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If my wife said, "Go ahead, you can go out for the entire day," I'd be like, "Yes, come on, who's coming to greet the coach with me? I'm going, let's just do it." That's what we're there for. That's what we're supporters, and we should show our support, and that should manifest itself in any way we can help.
Yeah.
And one of those ways is getting out there on the streets, screaming your heart out, screaming for your team, getting in the ground, screaming your heart out. And if you've got home and your voice still works, then you've done something wrong in this game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree with that. It's interesting because we have these conversations in the office a lot, because like Chris and I are in our mid-30s now, and Istanbul, I remember it well. Relatively speaking for yourself, it was just about how much alcohol was imbibed on the day. But the point is, we talk about this all the time, Tom. You're 23. You were a kid the last time Liverpool. And look, we're not there yet. It's a quarter-finals. We're so far away in real time. Even people can say it's 5 games, from lifting at a Champions League. That's a lot. That's a massive amount. They're the biggest games. They're bigger hurdles than that at this stage because of what you've got to go through. But I remember in the build-up to Istanbul, 2004, 2005, and there was just this talk of like the sport of hearing the stories. And there's a generation, and you're on the fringe of it because you're old enough to do it, but we've got James who's 17, who a baby basically when Liverpool were doing the business in the Champions League. I think as a fan base, I think we're prime. We needed the next generation Liverpool fans need some stories of their own. I
think that's what's feeding into my nervousness a bit. I feel a lot better now that we've had a bit of a talk around it. I think it's...
Well, Tom, you've watched 10 years. Your 10 most recent years, the years you remember the best, have been the 10 most fruitless years in Liverpool's basically 125-year history.
It's one of them. We were at a European final a few seasons ago. Obviously, we didn't win it. But just looking at, we went and looking at the atmosphere and the belief and the joyous scenes of that day, that's still one of the best days of my life. Just being in that fan park, and I don't care if we lost. That just the whole atmosphere, every single person there was fighting for one cause, singing for one cause, and it's the quarterfinals, but
3/4 of them didn't even have a ticket. They just went to show their support.
Exactly,
and that's what being a fan is.
It's amazing.
But it's about time now. That's great, and you're right. There's so many encouraging signs and stuff along the way, Ross. But it's time now, and maybe it isn't this season. Maybe this is a season too soon, because let's try and put it back into context. Man City are a great footballing side this year, and it represent a massive leap forward for us to get into the semi-finals of the Champions League, more than we ever would have dreamed of at the start of the season, of course. But whether we do it this season or not, I do feel as though we are primed to stop disappointing the fans in a general. This season might end in a tinge of disappointment, but you're right in saying that like it won't be the end of the world if we get knocked out by Man City. But it does feel as though we are the squad, the football club, is heading in the right direction.
Yeah, I think that's partly why I'm all right with it. Like you said, 9 years since we've been in. Well, I've been in it once, but got knocked out of the group stages, and it was crap. Now anything we do now is a bonus. And I shouldn't say I'm all right with it because obviously I'm not. Yeah. But do you know what I mean? It's not. It isn't the end of the world if we get knocked out now. It's still signs of progression. Yeah. And you'll know that as well from the 10 years that you watched it, or you go back to the Hodgson years, or Hicks and Gillette was horrible, horrible to watch. But Klopp's come in and then gone from no European football to European football and in the top 4 of the Premier League. Yeah. That's progression for me, and it's not. People want to win everything. Yeah. We all do, obviously, but then some people don't think it's good enough that you think, oh, top 4s, blah, blah, blah. We're going places, we're improving, we're adding to players next season already. Yeah.
The thing for me, Chris, is that I feel for people who don't have the memories that we have, but I'm bored of sounding like some sort of like a classic archetypal deluded Liverpool fan. You know what I mean? Like how sociopathic dickheads on the internet portray Liverpool fans like we're all into weird mysticism of football and all this kind of stuff. I've seen too many amazing things for me not to think that and not to believe that. But it would just be nice if Liverpool. This is a great opportunity for kind of like the Europa League final was to some extent, for us to prime a new generation, to give them something to go. Of course, so they don't have to be told by the dads and their uncles, this is what Liverpool do, they've seen it for themselves.
Mid-noughties, we were getting to Champions League semi-finals every season and stuff. Now, last 10 years, it's classic Liverpool to lose against the thing. Classic Liverpool 10 years ago was us getting to Champions League finals. Classic Liverpool now is losing against a team who's shit and at the bottom of the league. Yeah. Let's change that narrative. Let's get back to being a Champions League side who everybody is scared of. Don't forget that. No. Nobody wanted Liverpool just as much as we didn't want Manchester City. Nobody wanted Liverpool. Nobody wanted Manchester City because people fear sides with informed strikers and informed players. We're a special football side with a special manager who's got European pedigree. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They will remember that. Man City know that, and everybody else will be looking at this fixture thinking, thank fuck those two are playing each other, because that's one of them gone.
Yeah, no, absolutely, completely agree with that. And if that thing of the fact that we have got that win over them, if it just makes one of their players blink at any point, and in that blink, they just think, what if we don't win this? What if Liverpool do it to us again? Then that little fraction of advantage, if that's enough to get us across the line, amazing.
I think they've got a slightly bigger distraction at the weekend as well. I don't think it'll affect them loads, but the fact that they're playing Man United and can win a league against them, that'll be in their minds at some level.
Here's the thing: is you're right. I mean, again,
it'll
be the real test of their character, because if they're to prove themselves, because look again, it's pivotal. This is 2 weeks pivotal to Liverpool's season. It's just as pivotal to Man City's season. They could come out of this 2 week spell as Premier League champions with a place in the semi-final of the Champions League. But I'm thinking the only team that's beaten us this season we've knocked out of the competition, and they'll be flying, and they'll have no more weight on them other than to be able to focus on the Champions League. Great. They need that vindication, I think, to some extent. And I think truly great sides will rise to the occasion. They will get across the line. I don't think, and it's the belief I have to hold on to, because otherwise you just curl up in a ball and cry, wouldn't you? Man City are not there just yet. And again, I hold hope because I've seen us do it. I've seen us beat them. Yeah. I've seen us beat them at Anfield, and going back a couple of seasons, I've seen us beat them at the Etihad as well. This game is not a foregone conclusion either way. It's just dead exciting, and the best thing about it is it's why we're football fans, to be here, to be able to go to these games, to be able to soak it in, and hopefully have a little bit of a story to tell people when we come out the back of it as well. We're going to do the preferred 11s in a moment, but first I'm going to plug once more the run-in special, which could have been really dated, except we nailed it. We called Liverpool beating Palace and Chelsea losing to Spurs. Fantastic look into how Liverpool's season's likely to pan out between now and the end of the season in regards to top 4 chances and progression of the Champions League. Have a little look. Of the games that we've got left, I think we've got Bournemouth, West Brom and Brighton and Stoke are all absolute dead rubbers, I think, by this point. I think Bournemouth are going to be mid-table. They'll have nothing to play for. West Brom will more than likely be relegated by the time, or as close to it as makes no odds by the time we get to play them. Similarly, Stoke could well be down by that point. I mean, they're a 76% rated chance of being relegated now, and this is still a few weeks. We're still a few weeks away from that game. The Chelsea one could be, depending on how the results go before then. And again, Brighton should be absolutely mid-table, last game of the season. So our final run-in is quite nicely stacked. Where Liverpool's season is going to be made or broken, and you alluded to it a little bit earlier in the show, it's this next 4 games. Right, come on then, gents. Preferred 11 time. Yeah, if you want to check those videos out, do go to the redmentv.com and sign up. Free for a month. Perfect time to do it. We've got you covered if you're nervous or excited or whatever in the build-up to the rest of the season. Tom, let's see what your preferred 11 is. I 100% agree with that midfield. You were having a few doubts there.
Yeah.
You had a little dark moment where you disappeared into yourself.
It all feeds into nervousness. I don't know. It depends on what Chan does. I really want to see Chan and Hendo. I think they're going to sit like that. I really do. I know we like to play with the 1 and the 2, but I just see us... Obviously, it'll rotate, and then Hendo will go forward or Chan will go forward, but I just think we need that extra bit of stability in the back just to give us that.
Do you think it's just that there's a degree with how the midfield shapes up is... whether we choose to be on the front foot or whether we're being reactionary to what they're doing, because we know perfect world scenario they're going to have De Bruyne and Silva.
Yeah.
That just as a base mathematical thing, you'd like to have an extra guy in there in midfield. No, but equally, if we think, well, hang on, they're going to have, that means they're going to have Fernandinho if he plays isolated. Do we then look to overload?
For me, it's how they pressure our back line. So if they start pushing onto... because I can't remember what game it was, but someone was pushing onto Hendo and just didn't let him off the ball. He just put a man on him. So then Chan came in and took over that role, and then we just started playing balls. It took about 5 minutes to do it, but I just think... I don't know about Ox. I want Milner in there, but then Milner can't... It's so hard for me. We've got so many options, and they're all good.
I think that's the big split I think we've got. I think actually Chris has found a solution to the Milner or Ox conundrum by playing them both.
Yeah, why not? Like, we went with Chan, Ox, Wijnaldum in the 4-3.
Yeah.
And Chan played brilliantly in that role, and I think I understand what you're saying, Tom. Because when you start talking, I was thinking, oh yeah, Chan in that one, when he's under pressure, he has a tendency to make a few errors and stuff. But in the big games this season, he sets the tempo, he throws a slidey in, and he's always been really good in the big games, so I like him on his own in that one. And then Ox, those drive runs, he obviously scored last time out, he opened the score against City, didn't he? And just Milner, I just think he's too experienced. I think he's the most important midfielder in my midfield 3.
Yeah.
He's the one that I just have to find a way to get him playing.
It's mad, isn't it? I think Emre Can, we've all got him in there. I think if he's fit and available, he is absolutely nailed on to start in midfield, exactly what Chris said. Particularly the European games, but as we've seen in the big games, he's really risen to the challenge for us in the last couple of seasons, 3 seasons really, going back to the Europa League run. It is then a question of what does that mean for Henderson, because we have seen Henderson rotated out a bit, whether it's fitness or tactical, we're never quite sure. But the fact is, James Milner again is a big thing, but equally, I think Milner came on in the back end of the game at Anfield, and we lost total control of the midfield because he was asked to do too much defensive stuff. Oxlade-Chamberlain mentioned he scores the goal. Is it as simple as will they allow him to do the same thing? The midfield's where the big decisions are made.
Yeah, it's a nice problem to have, though. I've kind of gone for a mix of the two. I think if Chan and Hendo played, they will rotate, but then, like Chris said, the experience and knowledge that Milner has got, even in European football, he's probably our most experienced European footballer, I'm right in saying. He's too important to leave out for me. And we saw against Crystal Palace, even in certain situations, he rubs off on other people. Yeah. He's calm, he's composed, he knows what to do, and I think we're going to need that. He's just such a big game. I don't think you can afford to leave him out.
Why have you gone with Klein?
I've gone with Klein because I would prefer to see Nathaniel Klein in my 11, because it's called the preferred 11 selection.
Even though he's not played a senior game of football.
No, exactly, and a lot of this is just dependent upon. I don't know what level Klein's at, and it is a massive game to throw him in for. But weirdly, I think you can get. I think
you get one game on adrenaline, don't you? Almost
exactly. I think you can get 90 minutes out of him, and I just think to give Trent a little bit, he's going to have to play 3 of these games definitely. The next 3 games almost certainly. I don't think he will. If I'm perfectly honest, I don't think there's a chance Klein starts this game, but I would rather see him in here. I just think it will settle everyone down. I think it's just, we did a lot of this on the final word, so I think criticism of Trent Alexander-Arnold is just hot air. I think it's people saying words for saying words' sake, for needing to say negative things, because it makes them look like they really know what they're talking about in footy, because it's dead easy to criticise, isn't it, and sound dead intelligent. But the Klein thing would settle a lot of nerves. Everyone, I think, if you then get beaten with Nathaniel Klein in, you kind of can go, you can rationalise it and say, well, fair play to Leroy Sané or whatever if he doesn't. The fact that Rashford's gotten the better of Trent, the fact that Zaha's got the better of Trent, and I think Sané's much better than both of them, does make me nervous. So as I say, I think if you told me you can get all you're going to get is 1 game out of Klein this season.
For me,
maybe the away leg actually, to be fair, but
for me, I think Trent has shown his bounce back ability with stuff like that, and I think he deserves this game to go out and just be like, put your foot down, put your marker down, and say to these players, Sané's going to beat him at least once in this game. Maybe it'll result in a goal, but as long as you can keep it relatively tight, that's what wingers are for, is to beat your fullbacks ultimately. And I really want him to play well. Everyone to go, oh yeah, he's 19. Yeah. Everyone remembers when he has a good game when he's 19. Yeah. Remember it every time, and maybe he'll score a free kick.
The atmosphere will affect him more than anybody in a positive way, I believe, because he'll have grown up with those stories that our dads have told us, and he'll want to experience one of those ones. And I think that'll just make sure that he plays at a really, really high level. I'm hoping anyway.
The stories that our dad told us are probably the stories that his granddad's told him, unfortunately, just because the age gap. But yeah, no. The way I think it's worth looking at it, Ross, is that how do we approach this? Do we do it with a note of caution, or do we go out and attack them? Because as mentioned, how we shape the midfield up. Do you go? Emre Can gives you a solid platform, which means you can go Ox and Milner, as Chris has gone for there. Go for Trent and say, look, Sané could do the best right back in the world on a day. If he gets a little bit of space to run into, he could do it. He could do Gomez just as well. He could do Klein just as well. So you know what? Fuck it. Go and do what you do well. Get on the front foot. And look, I don't know who they're going to play at left back. If it's Delph, okay, we keep coming up against these guys who play madly out of position at full back and play really well against us. Ashley Young, my God. But yeah, it wouldn't shock me to see us just go, look, Trent is going to be caught out, but you know what? They're going to have too much to worry about us going the other way. That's my hope with the rationale.
Yeah, and we mentioned it on the final word about the lack of protection that he had, which changed in the second half. I think if you set up like that, say you have Milner, just go in, I'm on your side, I'll cover you. Don't worry about it.
Oxlade-Chamberlain as well, like Chris said, he's got more experience playing in the wing back position. Any
of them midfielders just to go, you're protected, go and do what you need to do. Sané goes on the attack, we'll just double team him and put 2 people on him. That's fine. It's the only way you're going to do it. I'd rather do that than I would like to see Klein in there, but I don't think you can chuck him in, because that'll be, if we lose, is people going to Klopp. He's not played for a year. Why have you played him? Yeah. He's not going to win either way, is he?
Yeah, exactly. You keep Trent in, and the same happens
as well, Paul. Yeah. I mean, I must admit, I did think about the 3 at the back, and the one reason I didn't put it down there is because what we will do and what we're so good at doing against sides like Manchester City is that pressure on their defenders, and you need our 3 forwards to be able to do that. Go into a 2 up top with the 3 at the back. It's too reactionary to Manchester City. We're taking us out of our zone. Yeah. Play the way that we play and how we play, and most importantly, it's making sure we win the ball back out the pitch. Don't let them get to our frigging full-backs if you can help it. Yeah. It's going to happen, of course, it's going to happen, but win the ball back out the pitch. Get your 3 strikers on there. They're going to have an absolute field day chasing down Man City shirts. Hopefully we're going to get 2 counter-attacking goals. We're going to win the game 4-0.
Yeah, we'll get score predictions in a second. Before I do, just a little mention then, we did the Sachin Nakrani podcast, sat down for half an hour to discuss a few random things about like a bit of hatred for Jordan Henderson, but a lot about the coach greeting and City fans' reaction in the build to this, which has been a bit mad and a bit weirdly bitter. Really, really entertaining stuff. The running show as well, and the final word show for after this game. Loads loads of amazing content on the redmentv.com. We've got podcasts, we've got video stuff, deep dives, tactical analyses of what's happening, what's making Liverpool tick. Everything you need to know about Liverpool Football Club is covered, and it's free for the first month. Go to redmentv.com and sign up. Perfect time with the amazing end lined up between now and the middle of May. Right, score predictions. Tom.
3-1.
Go ahead. Ross.
2-1.
Chris.
2-all.
Yeah,
I was thinking 2-1 myself.
I've got this mad thing in my head that let's just hope Liverpool just win comprehensively. That would be nice. But I think the way that, you know, I love a story. I just feel like we're going to go into that Etihad game with people thinking it's done and dusted, or City, and I don't mean like they're going to batter us at Anfield. I think it'll be close, and it might be like whether they think the away goal is enough for them. I think we're going to win at the Etihad. But I think no one will expect us to. I think we'll need to, and I think we will. So I think this is going to be close. I could see this being a draw, whether it's maybe 1-1. But we go and beat them 3-2 at the Etihad.
I'll tell you what, I'd love to see us do what we did on New Year's Eve, the year before last. Just not let them score at Anfield. Just don't let them get an away goal, 1-0. Shut up shop after about 8 minutes like we did that time. It'd be horrendous. It'll be horrible to watch, but I'd take that now.
That was a really, really good game. That was another game where it showed another side of our game. I'd love to see us do that.
I prefer the side where we just smash teams though. Let's just start right. given the choice. Let us know your score predictions in the comments below. Let us know your preferred 11s as well. How are you feeling? How are your nerves? Again, if you're not coping well with them, come over to the redmentv.com. Have a big digital cuddle. We're going to guide you through. We're going to get you there because we feel the same. And that's what that subscription's for. Listen, gents, thanks very much. I cannot wait to get myself to Anfield with these boys as well.
Go now.
Let's just go now. Wait. Break out the folding chairs and the tents. Let's get there and let's get ready. We'll see you all there. Drop a like on the video if you think the Mighty Reds can book a place in the semi-final, and we'll see you soon. Ta-ra.